Good morning, Iowa. All your weather, traffic, and local news you need to know starts right now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to do some extended severe weather coverage here. We now have a new tornado warning that has been issued for eastern Madison County and portions of Warren County. And this has just been issued by the National Weather Service. So I'm going to pull up some details here. There's the radar for you right there. And this is for, again, areas just to the east of Winterset. And it does include Indianola. So if you live in Indianola, go ahead and take your safe place. This is in effect for about 30 minutes. Until 6 o'clock this morning for portions of Madison and Warren County. I'm going to go ahead and take a closer look here. I've been keeping an eye on this because it has shown signs of rotation here for the past hour or so, but has really tightened up over the past 5 minutes. And this is the particular area I am watching. It's right around there. So you see that kind of a little bit of a hook on the front of that big blob of orange. That's what we're watching right there. So that area just south and west of Cumming is the area of rotation we are monitoring. This is moving to the southeast and would put Martinsdale in the path of that area of rotation. Wick down towards St. Mary's, perhaps St. Charles in line there. Indianola, again, you are in this tornado warning, which is in effect until 6 o'clock this morning. We'll keep an eye on where this rotation actually goes. The way these storms are working is we get these areas of tight rotation that last 5 to 10 minutes and then they kind of weaken pretty quickly. So I would honestly be surprised if this rotation maintains its strength as it moves toward Indianola, but you know, you never know. There's a possibility. So we're going to ask you folks in Indianola to go ahead and take shelter in the lowest level of your home, away from windows until this storm passes by. One thing that gives us an idea of where the strongest rotation is something called our shear tracker. Shear means a change of wind direction with height, and wherever you see the light pinks and the white, that's a sign of where the rotation is at its strongest. Now there is kind of a delay here on where shear tracker is showing. So I showed you earlier that the area of rotation is actually a little bit closer to just south and west of Cumming, probably closer to here. We're going to wait for the radar to update, but I would imagine that bright pink is going to show up in that circled area here pretty soon. So we're talking areas just to the west of I-35 right now. This is extreme northeast Madison County and northwest Warren County that we're most concerned about at this very moment. Again, if you're just joining us, we have a tornado warning which has been issued and is in effect until 6 o'clock this morning for northeast Madison County, western Warren County, portions of central Warren County as well. That does include Indianola. We also have a new warning that's been issued for Polk County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but here's some tips for folks that are in a tornado warning real quick. Head to the lowest floor of your home. If you don't have a basement, get to an interior room that does not have any windows. Maybe a bathroom underneath the stairs is a good place as well. Somewhere where you can take shelter, protect your head and your neck. If you have a bike helmet, that's always a safe thing to have. Maybe wear some shoes, throw on some shoes just in case the worst does happen and your home receives damage. You're gonna have debris all over the place, so if you have to climb out, so you're gonna want some shoes on. That's a good thing to have. Bring a pillow with you into the bathroom or that safe space just in case. So here's how things are shaping up right now. We have a tornado warning in red there for northeast Madison County, western portions of Warren County. It does include Indianola. This is in effect until 6 o'clock this morning. We have a new warning that's also in effect for Polk County, northern Warren County, and extreme western Jasper County. That is a severe thunderstorm warning, and that has just been issued. That's in effect until 6:15 this morning. So that includes the city of Des Moines. We're experiencing some gusty winds here in the metro as we speak. So that's where we have the heaviest rainfall. That is pushing to the east-southeast. So if you're not experiencing the gusty winds just yet, say in Altoona, Pleasant Hill, you're going to experience that here pretty soon. So a pretty serious situation ongoing here in central Iowa. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing in north central Iowa near Hardin County. That's in effect until 5:45 this morning. But our primary concern remains this tornado warning that is in effect until 6 o'clock this morning for portions of Madison County and Warren County. That polygon you see in red is the warning area. I'm going to pull up the velocity data here real quick just to get an idea of what we're seeing. Again, we are keeping an eye on just this little notch in this line. You see the greens and reds together. That's a sign that there could be some rotation, and the area in particular I'm watching right now is right here. You kind of notice there that little notch in that line between the greens and the reds. That is often the case whenever you get these line segments of storms. You get these little notches that often create a little rotation, and that's what we're seeing right now. This is approaching I-35. I would not recommend travel between Des Moines and the Martinsdale exit at this time on I-35. It's kind of a dangerous situation as this area of rotation approaches the I-35 and Highway 92 interchange. I'm going to pop up the radar here once again, then we'll time out what we can expect for timing on this system here. We'll get the radar up to right now, and again, we have that tornado warning in effect until 6 o'clock this morning. Area of rotation not too far away from Martinsdale. This is pushing to the southeast at around 30 miles per hour or so, so this is an approximation. Area of rotation that we're concerned about is pretty close to Bevington right now. If you live in Bevington, get into your safe place immediately. St. Mary's, you're in line to at least see this rotation pass nearby you, and then down the line here, it would be close to Indianola, but it looks like it's more likely to pass maybe just to your south as the storm pushes to the south and east in general. As I mentioned earlier, these areas of rotation don't often last terribly long, so I wouldn't be shocked if this warning is dropped before 6 o'clock, but just in case it isn't, seek shelter here as we have a rare tornado warning at 5:30 in the morning. We don't see these too often, but if you hear the sirens going off, if you have an alert on your phone, there's a reason why we have this tornado warning. It needs to be taken seriously as this storm approaches Warren County. Looking at the radar once again, it looks like Martinsdale, the area of rotation is very close to you right now. It's very close to Bevington right now. I'm not seeing any reports of a confirmed tornado at this very moment, but it's radar indicated that we could have a tornado. This initial warning was issued for a tornado possibly, potentially located southwest of Norwalk, moving to the southeast at 40 miles per hour. It looks like the National Weather Service is telling us there may have been a brief tornado near Badger Creek State Park, just based on what they were seeing on radar. There's no visual confirmation of that from anyone just yet. I'm sure state troopers are out monitoring this situation down in Warren and Madison counties. But again, these quick spin-up tornadoes certainly a possibility, and that's why this warning has been issued. We may see a couple more of these warnings like this later on this morning as this line continues to organize itself. There is no tornado threat in Des Moines. I'll make that clear. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Des Moines Metro. That's in effect until 6:15 this morning. That warning is in effect for the threat of straight line winds that could be up to 60 miles per hour. Some of those areas in that severe thunderstorm warning could also receive hail up to nickel sized. So Des Moines getting some heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail at this very moment. That wind will be rushing across Polk, Warren, and eventually Jasper and Marion counties down the line here. I'm going to zoom out and take a quick look at the big picture. Big cluster of storms across central Iowa right now, moving to the east-southeast. I'll put this into motion just to show you what's happened over the past hour or so. What's moving through Des Moines is kind of interesting. It started as a single storm, and then as time moved on, it's kind of turned into this mini low-pressure system. So these storms are almost rotating around themselves. It's creating its own environment that's had enough rotation to potentially produce some quick, brief tornadoes, and that may have been the case in northeast Madison County not too long ago, and that's the reason that we have this tornado warning in effect for, again, Madison and Warren counties until 6 o'clock this morning. And we also have the severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Polk, Warren, and Jasper counties. So that is the situation right now. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're still looking at some broad rotation on our radar here near Martinsdale right now. Where you see the red is where the wind is moving away from the radar. That radar is located in Johnston, so you see that marker up there on the top of the screen. Red means wind is moving away from the radar. Green is moving toward the radar. So whenever you get the green and the red close to each other, you start to get some rotation, and that rotation has tightened up enough in this line to potentially produce a brief tornado. So in particular, we're watching Martinsdale for the potential for a brief tornado. If you're in Prohl, go ahead and stay in your safe place until this storm passes on by. The way it's looking right now, the area of rotation is probably going to miss Indianola, but I'm telling you, there are some strong straight line winds that are heading your way in Indianola. Give it about 5 to 10 minutes, and there will probably be some tree damage at the very least in Indianola due to, if not a tornado, at least some straight line winds. We're experiencing some of those strong straight line winds in Des Moines right now, especially near south side of Ankeny. You see that light red up there? I'm going to get a look at just what the radar is estimating for wind speed. That's overdoing it. It's estimating 86 mile per hour winds. That's probably not happening. I would guesstimate 60 to 65 miles per hour is probably closer to reality, but nonetheless, that is capable of producing some damaging wind gusts. I would say the east half of Des Moines has the best chance at experiencing damaging winds at this very moment. Wherever you see those brighter reds is where that is more likely. Let's go back down here to the tornado warned area. I'm going to pop up our shear tracker once again, and it's still monitoring at least an area of rotation. This is not looking quite as strong as it once did not too long ago, about 30 minutes ago. In fact, I'm going to look back real quick at what that looked like at one point. Just to show you why this tornado warning was triggered. Right there, just south and west of Boonville, there was a pretty strong spike of rotation on our radar there. I will highlight that for you real quick. Right there. That's probably, or at least possibly, where a tornado may have occurred about 10 to 15 minutes ago, and that's what triggered this tornado warning from the National Weather Service. Since then, watch the shear tracker, still looking pretty strong in northeast Madison County, and then recently starting to weaken a little bit as it crosses toward Warren County. So I would imagine this is not going to be quite as big of a threat as it maybe once was. The warning is still in effect for Warren County until 6 o'clock this morning. I'm going to pop that warning back up for you. The portion of the warning that was in effect for Madison County has been canceled, so that's good news. We do have an additional severe thunderstorm warning that has popped up for central and southern Madison County and portions of Union and Clark counties as well. So straight line winds, the primary threat with this cluster of storms right here, but there could be a little brief tornado that does pop up, and that's why this tornado warning remains in effect for central and western Warren County until 6 o'clock this morning. We'll zoom out here and take a look at the loop. We had one line move through Des Moines initially. A second line has pushed through, and that's what's creating these strong wind gusts. Ton of lightning out there, as you can see on the left side of your screen there. I mean, we're talking multiple flashes every second. Our radar is estimating across the state of Iowa 5,000 lightning strikes within 10 minutes. So this is one of the best lightning shows I've ever seen. It's not safe to be outside because of that. So go ahead and let these storms pass by until it's safe to go ahead and head out for work. For Des Moines, it looks like we have maybe another 30 minutes or so of heavy rainfall, and then we'll see things lighten up. After that, we may be dry for the rest of the day in the metro, so that's certainly good news. I'm going to pop up Future Tracker to give you an idea of what we can expect the rest of the day today. And this line should continue to push southward. Now, our model's off a little bit. In reality, this is kind of where things are right now. So it's a little bit behind. We'll see eventually these storms merge into a stronger line that pushes into southeast Iowa, say around 9 o'clock or so this morning. Even though it wants to put some redeveloping showers and storms in Des Moines at 9 o'clock, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're done with the rain in Des Moines in another 45 minutes tops, and the rest of the day should be dry as those storms continue their push to the south and east. So this is the prime time is right now for severe weather. Again, we have a couple of tornado, one tornado warning, a few severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for central Iowa. By the way, up north here, we have a flash flood warning in effect for portions of Franklin County, Hamilton County, over toward Humboldt County. Radar is estimating 3 to 5 inches of rain has fallen in that portion of the state already this morning. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Hardin County that is about to expire. It looks like that storm has since weakened, so that's good news. Here's the situation right now. Severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Madison County, Clark, and Union counties until 6:30 this morning. Tornado warning continuing for portions of Warren County, including Indianola, and a severe thunderstorm warning continuing for Polk County and northern Warren County until 6:15 this morning. Elias, I'm going to toss it to you just real quick so I can get a swig of water. Do you have any updates on power outages or anything across the metro at this point?
Yeah, we do. We have 2,700, looks like 2,798 Des Moines Metro customers without power right now. And when we take a look at exactly the breakdown, the majority of those customers over in West Des Moines, 1,900 right now without power. The next biggest total customers in the dark would be up in Dallas Center, just outside the metro at 677. The tough part about that is we are going to be in the dark for a couple hours. Estimated time of power restoration for West Des Moines is not until 8:30 or so. So you are going to have to be sitting there just being patient for some time. We also, I do believe, have some new video just in to our newsroom. This is what it looked like in Waukee. Waukee is another area where there is some power outages reported. Look at the sheets of rain coming down with those wind gusts right there. You can see the wind with the rain and the lightning Big thanks to our news director, April Sant, for sending that in to us. We appreciate any video or pictures you can safely take. This would not be something you'd want to do if you are in the line of the storms that are coming your way, as Taylor has alerted us to. But this was after the initial burst had started to go through that we were able to get some video for you. That is why some folks are without power today. Some of the lines have come down and folks are in the dark. Again, a couple hours it's going to take at least for restoration of power. The most folks and customers in the dark with Mid-American in West Des Moines right now. Taylor's got his water back, and he is ready to continue following the warnings right now. Taylor.
All right, thanks, Elias. So again, we have 3 warnings around central Iowa. One of those is a tornado warning for Warren County in effect until 6 o'clock this morning. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for portions of Polk County, including the city of Des Moines, until 6:15. A separate severe thunderstorm warning in central and southern Madison County, northeast Union County, and northwest Clark County in effect until 6:30 this morning. Straight line wind is going to be the predominant threat here. Even despite that tornado warning, the majority of these areas are just going to experience some strong straight line winds that could cause tree damage, maybe knock down power lines. Heavy rainfall and lightning certainly could be a problem with these storms as well. So a lot of hazards. Hail is not out of the question. Our news director told us earlier this morning that in Waukee she picked up some dime-size hail, so that is a possibility. Up to quarter-size hail is possible in some spots as well. I'm just going to look through a couple reports real quick. There was a report of a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust near Adair. Looks like that was at 5:20, so about 25 minutes ago that was the case. Also, at least one semi blown over on I-80 westbound near mile marker 80. So I'd imagine that's probably west of Des Moines. I'm not entirely sure about that. And then just lots of reports of some small hail around the Des Moines metro at this moment, some gusty winds. No reports of a tornado at this time, but the radar showed some strong indications that there was some strong rotation earlier with this storm back in northeast Madison County near Badger State Park. So that's when they issued this warning. Now, the area of rotation right now is not too far away from Martinsdale, and that's the area that's continuing to be under a tornado warning until 6 o'clock this morning. I'm going to pop up Shear Tracker once again. This is something that tells us where the rotation is at its best, and that is the case just to the south and east of Martinsdale right now, moving to the south and east. So it looks like the best rotation with this storm, which is near St. Mary's, will be pushing south and east, south and west of Indianola as it moves to the south and east. So it's moving in that general direction there. St. Mary's, go ahead and take shelter if you can. I'm going to report right now that over 12,000 are without power in Des Moines right now, so that tells you just how strong these winds are. Hopefully they can get that power back on soon, because it's going to be a rough afternoon if they don't. We're expecting some hot and humid conditions later this afternoon once these storms pass on by. Okay, so here's a look on the left side of the screen. This is the Jordan Creek exit on I-80. It looks like there are some emergency vehicles out there that may have something to do with the semi that was blown over that I mentioned earlier, but we're not entirely sure about that. Also getting a report here of semis blown over near Casey, the Casey exit on I-80, the eastbound left lane. There's also some tree debris on the road there. That was probably due to straight line winds in Guthrie County. So we're getting reports that are confirming that these storms are strong enough to cause some damage, whether it's power outages, trees getting knocked down, semis being blown over. Take the warning seriously. They are issued for a reason, and we do have a handful of warnings in effect for central Iowa at this very moment. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Polk County. A new one has just been issued for northeast Polk County and northwest Jasper County. That warning is in effect until 6:30 this morning. 60-mile-per-hour winds are the primary threat with that storm. This warning right here in central, southern, and southeast Polk County, that's in effect until 6:15 this morning. Again, 60-mile-per-hour winds are the primary threat. Some small hail is also a possibility. And as we move down the line here, a tornado warning continues for central and western Warren County, Martinsdale, Indianola included in that tornado warning, which is in effect until 6 o'clock. So for another 10 minutes, that tornado warning remains in effect. And then lastly, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for central and southern Madison County, northeast portions of Union County, and northwest Clark County in effect until, I believe that one is 6:30. Let me confirm that for you real quick. Yep, 6:30 for those counties right there. You have some information, Elias?
Yeah, I-80 westbound is blocked now. The Casey area you just mentioned, Taylor, because of the semi, the road is completely blocked. They're saying due to a crash, but we don't have the camera over there right now, but the map to show you about that shows the Iowa DOT at that 511ia.org app that you can download. That's what we follow, and that is what's showing the I-80 westbound completely blocked. So it's a mess over there, Taylor. You've been that was one of the first areas that you noticed the winds were kind of concerning this morning. Even before we started the newscast, it was like right on that I-80 area. And indeed, that area is blocked right now. And then even as close as Jordan Creek, headed westbound, we also have some issues with possibly a semi that's been tipped over.
Yeah. Yep. So what's happening right now, Elias, and everyone at home, is this cluster of storms in central Iowa is beginning to form into that strong bowing line that we were concerned about when we were forecasting this. This is likely going to strengthen and become a straight line wind event that pushes through south central and southeast Iowa. I want you folks down the line in Pella, Sheraton, eventually Ottumwa, Centerville, Oskaloosa to be prepared for some strong straight line winds within the next hour or two. This whole storm cluster is generally pushing to the east-southeast around 35 to 40 miles per hour and could produce 60, maybe even 70 mile per hour winds as it continues its trek across the state. I'm going to try to time this out here. It's a big cluster, so it's kind of hard to be exact, but I'm going to highlight the areas that are producing the severe winds. And here's what we're looking at over the next hour or so. This is a rough estimate, but for the strongest wind gusts in Newton, it's going to arrive around 5:55. You are going to get some heavy rain here very soon. Of course, 5:55 is just a few minutes away. Pella, the heavy rain, the gusty winds will be arriving closer to 6:24 or so down the line in Sheraton. You're going to get some thunderstorms before 6:48, but the best chance for severe winds will arrive in about an hour or so for you folks in Lucas County. Maybe closer to 7, 8 o'clock for you folks in Ottumwa and Oskaloosa, and maybe even closer to 9 for Centerville as those continue to push to the south and east. So we have several warnings in effect across the state. These all started up in northwest Iowa early this morning around 2 and 3 o'clock. In fact, I'll put the last 6 hours looped in here just to give you an idea of what's happened. These storms just really got going quickly. Were initially pretty isolated, then have since pushed to the east-southeast, have created some flooded roads in spots, have created some gusty winds that have knocked down trees, power lines, and even blown some semis over. And right now that continues to be a threat, especially in south central Iowa. The Des Moines Metro is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 this morning. Northeast of Des Moines in Bondurant, stretching over to Baxter, Colfax, Mingo, you're in a warning until 6:30 this morning. This warning again for Des Moines, Altoona, Carlisle is in effect until 6:15. Tornado warning continues for central and western Warren counties. This does include Indianola. That's in effect until 6 o'clock this morning. And then lastly, a severe thunderstorm warning continues for southern Madison County, northeast Union County, northwest Clark County in effect until 6:30 this morning. I want to focus back on the tornado warning because, of course, that's a primary concern. Let's get a look at the shear once again. This is basically tracking where the rotation is at its strongest. Still seeing some rotation on the radar here. It is not quite as prominent as it once looked in northeast Madison County, but you see that area of purple and pink there just to the south and west of Indianola. That's the area of primary concern as far as a tornado threat goes in Warren County. Thankfully, this is over rural areas right now, so hopefully the damage will be limited if it is indeed producing a tornado. But down the line, the intersection of Highway 69 and 65 there would be an area to watch. Looks like it's going to be heading over to pretty rural country, which is good news. Lacona, you're not in a tornado warning right now, but just be on the lookout for potential of a tornado warning. And eventually, if this were to hold together, we'd be looking at potential rotation moving into northern Lucas County over the next 20 to 30 minutes. But area of primary concern for a tornado threat remains just to the south and west of Indianola. Chances of a tornado in Indianola, you folks out there, it's pretty low. Stay put in your safe place, though, just in case things change. This type of storm system is one where things can rapidly change and we get tight rotation to develop quickly. That's actually what happened here, and what triggered the tornado warning about 30 minutes ago was rapidly rotating storm here that kind of developed a little bit out of nowhere. We were monitoring some mild rotation, then all of a sudden in northeast Madison County, that area of rotation kind of spiked, and that may have produced a brief tornado there about 30 minutes ago or so. Let's get back to the radar here, what you're used to seeing. Lots of heavy rainfall, lots of lightning moving through Madison, Warren, Polk, Jasper, even Marshall counties at this hour, and even down south in Sheraton over to Grand River. We have some strong rain and some strong wind gusts. New severe thunderstorm warning just popped up on the screen there, as you saw, and that is covering a huge area. Too many counties to count, but you get the idea. If you see yourself, your location in a yellow box, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour are possible with this storm here. So you get the idea. Basically, if you live in south central Iowa, you have a chance at some severe winds that could knock out power, could cause some damage to trees. If you drive a semi, it's obviously not a safe time to be driving at this very moment. And we'll go ahead and loop this over the past hour to give you an idea of where it is heading. This whole storm cluster is pushing in general to the east-southeast at around 30 to 40 miles per hour. So, Elias, it's going to be a rough morning out there for the commute. Good news for Des Moines is things are beginning to dry out, and give it another 30 minutes and most of the heavy rain should be out of the metro.
Okay. We do have some flight delays to tell you about this morning, understandably here, due to the current weather situation we're seeing. Most of those flights that are supposed to be taken off, delayed here. I do believe those are the departure. Looking at the arrival screen, if we click over to there, everything's still scheduled. That's kind of a TBD, but get back over to the departures. If you are planning, especially on American there, those first few flights, they're all going to be impacted this morning. The good news, Taylor, is calling for these storms to move out here yet this morning, so this should not be an all-day event by any means, but you could have some impacts with your morning flights. Also, give you another update on your power outages. We've got over 12,000 customers without power. A bunch of them here in Des Moines have popped up in the past 15 minutes or so. Give you the rundown. Not a whole lot in Ankeny or Clive, about 100 or so in Clive. Dallas Center still over 600. Des Moines has over 5,000. You are unfortunately the most right now. Just Dallas County customers, countywide 172 without power. Urbandale, you've shot up in the last 10 minutes, 1,300 without power there. Waukee, just 25 folks reported without power. West Des Moines still 3,300 without power, and it could take a couple of hours for this to be all settled. We haven't seen any reports, I don't believe, Taylor, of any power lines on roadways. That's one of the things that he looks at while we do this coverage. He's got a number of things he's monitoring, but that doesn't mean the power isn't knocked out. And so if you don't have power in your area, it's best to just proceed with caution. You never know if something could be down. If you do happen to see a wire on the ground, do not drive over it, do not approach it. Call police right away and report something like that if you do see something like that down. This is video out of Waukee this morning, provided to us from April Samp here at Local 5. Had a chance to go out and take some video. Look at the lightning, though, and the wind that is just bringing that rain down that came down in sheets today that's impacting folks. Let's get back over to Taylor with what's happening as we speak. Yeah, Elias, a ton of lightning with this storm system here. All those blue markers there are lightning strikes within the last 10 minutes, and we can actually get a tally across the state of how much lightning there is here. So I'll do that real quick and put a box across the region. And earlier it was saying close to 5,000 lightning strikes in a 10-minute time frame. It's still saying that. So this is one of the most electrically charged storm systems we have seen in quite some time. That's one hazard. Of course, there are several hazards to be concerned about with this storm system, and that includes straight line winds and even a minor tornado threat. The tornado warning is going to expire here in about a minute. I would imagine it will not be re-upped, but we will let you know if it does. Still seeing a bit of a notch here just south of Indianola. I'll take that warning off real quick just to show you what I'm talking about. Just south of Indianola there near the Highway 69 and 65 interchange, like I mentioned earlier,
You see that notch right there? That's something that would signify, at least, we talk about hook echo sometimes. That's kind of a mini hook echo, a little notch in the line that would possibly indicate some rotation. And just as I mentioned that, we have a new tornado warning that has been issued for portions of southeast Warren County, down the line here toward northern Lucas County and southwest Marion County. This warning is in effect until 6:15. So National Weather Service, I think wisely, has shortened the time span of these warnings because things can change, strengthen, and weaken so rapidly. Boy, this latest scan we got here shows that there's some pretty tight rotation with this storm here. Let me pop up Shear Tracker just to give you an idea of the type of rotation we are seeing with this. And there we go. That pink area right there, south of Indianola, moving to the southeast, is a sign of some pretty strong rotation being indicated on radar. National Weather Service says this is radar indicated. No confirmations of tornadoes on the ground just yet, but we have at least strong enough indication on the radar for the possibility of a tornado south of Indianola, moving to the south and east, and this storm is picking up pace quickly. So it's now moving southeast at 65 miles per hour. That's the entire storm itself moving at 65 miles per hour. So it is moving quickly to the south and east. In fact, it's already, that area of concern is already approaching Lacona. If you live in Lacona, Melcher, Dallas, down toward Williamson, even Sheraton, just in case, go ahead and get into your safe place. This is moving to the southeast very quickly, so you won't have much time to seek shelter, and that's why this warning is only in effect for 15 minutes. It's going to be moving that quickly through this tornado-warned area. Area of concern is not too far away from Lacona. It is, in fact, I'm not even going to be able to put a tracker on there, so let me zoom out real quick to get a better estimate of the timing. Again, moving to the south and east, close to 65 miles per hour. Williamson, within 10 minutes, this area of rotation will be on your doorstep. I know Albia, Blakesburg, and Ottumwa are showing up on our time tracker there. This would have to hold its strength with over an hour for it to be a concern for you folks. So unless you're in a tornado warning, don't feel like you have to take shelter, but it may be a good idea to just keep an eye on things and stay in your lowest level of your home if you're near or ahead of these storms. Certainly, if you are in the tornado warning, get into the lowest level of your home. Maybe Jason can pop up some of those tips when you get a chance of what you should do. Lowest level of your home, away from windows, away from exterior doors or exterior walls for that matter. Bring some protection with you. Pillow covering your head, maybe a helmet, bike helmet would be an option to keep you safe just in case the worst does happen. And there you go. Just some tips. It has been a little while since we've had tornado warnings here in central Iowa. It's been a pretty quiet year here locally, but you know, it can happen any time of the day, any time of the year, and this morning is proof of that. That is for sure. So folks in Melcher, Dallas, Williamson, if you live in rural southeast Warren County, including Milo over to Lacona, north central Lucas County, Sheraton, you're kind of on the fringe of this warning. If I had to guess, and I'm pretty confident in this, I would say this area of rotation that we are watching, which again is right now in southeast Warren County, I would guesstimate that this is going to move north of Sheraton and not impact you folks. But you are going to experience some strong straight line winds. That's pretty much a guarantee at this point. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour are certainly a possibility. Area of rotation is going to be moving in that general direction, though, toward Williamson. So Williamson in particular, if you live there, seek shelter right now. You will have at least some strong rotation in the clouds heading your general direction, and we could have the potential for a tornado heading your way within the next 10 minutes. If you're in Lacona, that rotation's over you right now. You need to be in your safe shelter immediately, lowest level of your home, away from windows. Most of us are not experiencing a tornado threat, but a straight line wind threat. The National Weather Service chat here that I'm keeping an eye on is saying that there are lots of small and medium-sized tree branches down, trash cans knocked over across Urbandale. It's trash day in my neighborhood too, and that's probably not good news for us in West Des Moines. So this wind is probably going to cause a bit of a mess. It's probably going to slow things down for your morning commute as well. Elias.
Des Moines Police Department is reporting some water over the roadways as well. Take a look at this. These are pictures that have been provided to us via the Des Moines Police Department. So that's another thing to keep in mind. The rain is still coming down here, and if you do see water over the roadways, we've told you this time and time again, do not cross that water. Do not drive through that water, Taylor.
Yeah, multi-hazard event this morning, so there's the proof of the flash flooding. National Weather Service just now saying that a tornado has been confirmed. It was located near Melcher Dalles, or 12 miles north of Sheraton, moving southeast at 60 miles per hour. So Melcher Dalles, Williamson, the areas in this tornado warning. We now have confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground not too far away from Melcher Dalles right now, moving to the south and east rapidly. So this is a very quick moving storm. Unfortunately, it does not give us a lot of time to take shelter. But if you are in this tornado warning, and maybe even down the line, if you live in general in southern Marion County, northern Lucas County, and even in Monroe County, northwest Monroe County, it might be a good idea to go ahead and get into your safe place right now in case this storm maintains its intensity. And it has over the past 45 minutes as far as the tornado threat is concerned, at least. I want to get back to Shear Tracker. This has been doing a pretty good job of keeping an eye on where the area of tightest rotation is. There is a delay on Shear Tracker. I want to make that clear. The rotation is actually located between Lacona and Melcher Dalles right now. That's where a tornado has been confirmed. So there's a bit of a delay, but in general, this area of rotation is moving east-southeast very quickly. So in this general direction, not too far away from Williamson. Eventually, it will be moving down the line here toward northeast Lucas County and northwest Monroe County. So I'll pop that tornado warning back up. You think down the line here, if you live in Melrose, Indiana, down toward Albia even, keep a close eye on this. Maybe start thinking about getting into your safe place. You definitely need to be in your safe place right now if you live in Melcher Dalles, Williamson. Those are the two locations I am most concerned about at this moment, since there has indeed been a confirmed tornado not too long ago near Melcher Dalles, moving to the south and east very, very quickly. So confirmed tornado there, and also several instances of straight line winds causing some issues across central Iowa early this morning. Straight line wind will continue to be the primary threat as it pushes into southeast Iowa over the next hour or two. This is merging into that giant line that we were worried about. Whenever you get this line to move into a really healthy, unstable environment that we have in place in southeast Iowa, that is going to lead to some severe weather, and that's certainly what we've seen develop over the past hour or so, and what we will continue to see develop as it approaches Oskaloosa, Pella. It's heading your way soon down the line toward Albia, Ottumwa, eventually Centerville. All of you folks are going to experience the heavy rainfall that could cause some flooding, as we're seeing in Des Moines this morning. Lots of lightning, damaging straight line winds, and occasionally you get a little rotation in that line that can produce at least brief tornadoes. And once again, if you're just joining us, National Weather Service is confirming a tornado was at least on the ground at some point near Melcher Dalles. That report coming in just a few minutes ago, and a tornado warning continues until 6:15 for portions of southeast Warren County, southwest Marion County, and north central and northeast Lucas County. Any more information on flooding or anything around the metro at this point?
Well, we still are taking a look at I-80 westbound. It's still closed. It's still reported closed. This is Jordan Creek we want to show you. This is a little closer to home. This is eastbound. We do have some emergency folks on site right there. The only thing the DOT is reporting is there's a crash there. We have heard reports, though, that a semi was blown over, we know, over by Casey. That's the most significant travel advisory for you right now, is that I-80 westbound, just west of Casey, over County Road N72 is closed because of a crash or a semi that could be over the road blocking it completely. So that's the biggest travel advisory to tell you about. The other one here closer to home was the Jordan Creek Road. As it's headed eastbound. That was eastbound traffic. Traffic is getting around it okay, but there's the closure that we can show you. The hard closure is still being reported. That was as of 5:40 this morning, so a half hour later it's still closed. It could take some time to get the equipment that you need out there to pick one of those right side back up. The last time we saw an impact like this was back when we saw some heavy storms roll through the area. We saw some tornadoes and straight line winds that went through it was within the last couple of months, not too far from Stewart. We were out there covering that, and so, and Adair. So this is an area that's been kind of notorious in the last couple of months for having some straight line winds and tornadoes reported, Taylor.
I believe that was late May when that occurred near Stewart and Adair. So they had a rough start to summer, and it looks like we're closing out the summer months here with some rough weather as well. In general, it's been a pretty quiet year with severe weather, but it doesn't mean that it can happen at any time, and that's occurring right now in what is often one of the quieter parts of the day with some strong storms racing across the state. We currently have 2 severe warnings, well, 1 severe thunderstorm warning and 1 tornado warning across south central Iowa. The severe thunderstorm warning, which covers several counties in yellow. In fact, I'll take off the radar real quick so you can actually see that area. That includes multiple counties. That's in effect until 7 o'clock this morning, and then the tornado warning is in effect until 6:15 this morning, so another 5 minutes. There has been a confirmed tornado near Melcher, Dallas, about 5 to 10 minutes ago, and this storm is racing to the south and east, so the area of rotation is probably well out of Warren County at this point and moving into southern Marion County and northern Lucas County. Those are the areas of concern at this very moment. I'll pop the radar back up here and get rid of those warning information boxes. Let's go ahead and zoom back in on the tornado warned area. Not quite seeing as much organization here, but it is kind of a jumbled mess with the radar. So I'm going to pop up our shear tracker to see if it indicates any areas of tight rotation. Not really seeing that here on shear tracker. It looks like it has weakened some, so that's good news. Still possible that we could have some quick spin up tornadoes in this line. Straight line winds look to be a big threat with this line as well. So even in that tornado warned area, just looking at some of the velocity data here, it looks like some seriously strong winds. Boy, you see that white area? We don't see that too often on the velocity data. That's near Melcher, Dallas, near Williamson. So this is an indication that there are some very strong straight line winds punching through the leading edge of this storm. So even if there's not a tornado, we kind of have to treat it like it is, because at the very least there are some very strong straight line winds moving into northern Lucas County right now, and that storm in general is pushing to the south and east. So again, I'm focusing on you folks in Williamson. Stay in your safe place, and here's the latest radar update. Even back up toward Pleasantville and Melcher, Dallas, strong straight line winds being indicated on the radar. Our radar can estimate how strong these winds are. Keep in mind it's scanning the winds a couple thousand feet above the ground since it's that far away from the radar site in Johnston. But wow, it's overdoing it, but it is estimating over 100-mile-per-hour straight line winds. I doubt that is happening. I could potentially see 70, maybe even 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this. That's not out of the question. That's enough to cause tree damage, power lines getting knocked down. But boy, Elias, I don't recall seeing something like this on the radar in quite a while as far as straight line winds go. So pretty serious situation ongoing in Marion and Lucas counties at this very moment.
And unfortunately, we don't have an estimated time for power restoration. If you were without power right now, at least they were giving you a 2-hour window in the Des Moines metro area. There's no longer an estimated time of restoration, because we have over 12,000 people without power right now. The majority of those customers are in Des Moines. And as we were looking at the breakdown as to, sometimes they give you an idea as to when you're going to get your juice back on. That is no longer the case, because there are so many customers impacted right now from Urbandale, over a couple thousand there, but over 12,504. This number has just continued to climb up and up as the weather has rolled through. And you can see right now, and I know Taylor's been tracking this all morning, we still have some pretty good weather moving over the top of us right now here in the metro, and it looks like a little bit is even on the back edge of this. Are we going to experience some more, Taylor, even after this big blob moves through?
Yeah, let's take a look at the metro here just to get an idea for people that may be beginning to clean on up. There is a little bit of rain on the back edge here redeveloping. It's not a lot. It's a pretty skinny line, but we'll put a loop here to give you an idea of where that's headed. Yeah, we could potentially see at least some areas around the metro get additional rain as we move closer to the 7 o'clock hour, but that's probably not going to pose a severe threat, which is the good news. There may be some lightning, some occasional downpours with that cluster of showers right there between Carroll, Perry, and the Des Moines metro. But severe threat is pretty much done for Des Moines, which is good news. Just a lot of heavy rain, and the severe threat is now cleared south and east of the metro. So your morning drive is at least improving for Des Moines, but watch out for the flooded roads. Watch out for maybe some tree limbs on the roads. That's certainly going to be a possibility. And your commute is probably going to be slower than normal if you're heading out anytime soon. Primary concern remains for areas south and east of Des Moines. There on the screen real quick, you can see some of the examples of flooding in the metro. That's from the Des Moines Police Department, I believe. Just a couple examples of the flooding we are experiencing this morning here in Des Moines. That's just one of the many issues across the state. The immediate concern right now is potential for straight line wind damage and even a minor tornado threat in south central Iowa. Tornado warning continues for another minute or so. In fact, it just dropped, and we'll see if they issue an additional warning, the National Weather Service, but they have not at this very moment. Let me look at rotation here again real quick. Yeah, it's still there to some extent, but really this line is beginning to bow out, and I'll show you the radar to explain what I mean by bowing out. It literally looks like a bow. So we have a line kind of bowing out just like that. The strongest of the line is near Lucas County, and that's where you get the strongest of the winds, and it's racing to the east-southeast. So zooming out here just to give you an idea of what we can expect. Knoxville, it's beginning in your area here any second. Oskaloosa, give it another 20 minutes or so down the line. In Ottumwa, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, and then eventually moving toward Bloomfield over the next hour or so. Centerville, you'll get some downpours as well. Same for you folks in Corydon and down toward Lamoni, but it looks like the best chance for severe weather is in this area that is currently warned, and that is a big box, big severe thunderstorm warning for several counties: Jasper, Poweshiek, Mahaska, Marion, Warren, down toward Clark, Lucas, northern Wayne County, over toward Monroe, and a little bit of Wapello counties. All those are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock this morning. So straight line winds remain the primary threat here. We'll probably end our continued coverage here pretty soon, but I want to give one last look. Between Knoxville and Sheraton, we have some seriously strong straight line winds ongoing right now. I'm really concerned that this is going to cause a lot of damage to trees, power lines, things of that nature as it continues to push eastward. So Knoxville, if you live there, you're going to experience some strong winds here pretty soon. Sheraton, you might see some strong winds, but between those two is where it will be at its worst there. Between right on Highway 14. It's going to get pretty nasty here very soon, and those strong winds are probably going to eventually impact Oskaloosa, Eddyville, Albia, Blakesburg, and Ottumwa. You want to toss back to you, or maybe toss to break?
Yeah, you know, we're going to, we have some new video coming in. We're going to bring that to you in just a little bit. This is a good time to maybe take a break, though. We're going to retabulate some of the power outages, so stay with us. It's not over yet, but we're at a point now where we can send you off to break just for a minute. Let us grab a drink here, and we'll join you back here in just a minute. You're watching Good Morning Iowa.